What is literature? Actually, literature is a wide term which can include everything that is readable, seeable, and hearable. And it is derived from the Latin word literature, meaning writings, or the French, the lettre, meaning fine letters. Initially, literature is restricted to only these works that are believed to be fictional or imaginative, and are categorized into three different categories, that is poetry, prose, and now uh, with the development of with the development of a modern society, you find that literature can include almost everything, every writing. Even though the forms or subject matters in the three different genres can be the same, you find that their mode of presentation or their style differ. That is to say, poetry is distinct from play or drama in the way it is written, because it's written in lines, stanzas, and so on and so forth. Likewise, drama itself, which is in form of acts and scenes, while prose is written in loose, lump. So, as I've said earlier, literature now has been extended to encompass almost every writing, whether fictional or otherwise. So this is why we have other genres like life writing, which normally is viewed to be non-fictional and includes things like biographies, autobiographies, diary, journals, memoir, travelogue, letters, and essays. Well, what is fiction? Fiction implies a kind of narrative, be it in prose, in verse, but something that is invented. Rather than recounting factual events, it is something that is invented. This is why we say the central thing in fiction is the creativity of the writer. Sometimes it is seen to be synonymous with novel, but I think fiction should extend far beyond that. And it is also to be noted that fiction is not synonymous with falsehood, because in fiction, the writer is deliberately aware that he's trying to imagine something. It is a kind of imagination, not a deliberate attempt to deceive others by telling lies and so on. So fiction is a kind of creativity. It is a product of the writer's imagination and creativity. The genres of literature. Mainly, there are three genres of literature: poetry, prose, and poetry. Well, poetry is believed to be the earliest, the ancient form of literature, because it has existed even before writing. That is through oral tales told from one generation to another, or from parents to their offspring, and so on and so forth. So a writing is said to be, a text is said to be a poem when it has meter, rhythm, or rhyme, and focuses on the way syllables, words, and phrases sound put together. Poems are often made up of fragments and phrases rather than complete, meaningful sentences. Poetry is also almost always written in stanzas and lines, which creates a kind of unique look on the page. But not all poems have a strict line arrangement or regular rhyme pattern. Such poems are called free form or free. Some features that distinguish poetry from the other genres of literature. One of these features is the use of rhyme, which is a kind of repetition that normally occurs at the end of lines, even though we have what you call internal rhyme coming in the middle of a poem. For example, listen to this. Uh, there's an old man of Peru who dreamt he was eating his shoe. He woke up in a fright in the midst of night and found it perfectly true. Here you find that in the first two lines there's the rhyming of the vowel sound woo woo, Peru, shoe, and also in the last line. While in the third and fourth line, there's the repetition of the word right and night. So that is what you call rhyme. Verse, which implies or refers to lines in a poem. Most of the time, a verse is not a full or complete sentence. It's just a line of poetry. For example, let's see this. Poetry is man meaning to man. Here you can see that the verse could be just one word. Stanza is derived from the Italian stopping place. It's a grouping of the verse lines in a poem and often separated by a space in the printed text. It can be considered to be an equivalence of a paragraph in prose writing. That is to say, a passage or story or essay is made up of paragraphs, while a poem is made up of stanzas. What is prose? Prose is any kind of writing that is written in loose form. That is, it's just a kind of lumpy writing in paragraphs, just like an essay, for example. Most typical varieties of prose are novels and short stories, while other types include letters, diaries, journals, nonfiction, and so on. And this prose is written in complete sentences and organized in paragraphs. And rather than focusing on sound, in contrast to the poetry's aim, prose tends to focus on plot and character. Some features of prose. Plot, which is the linear arrangement of events in the story. You find that in any story, the event unfold from the beginning, and then there's the middle, that's the end, which equals departure, adventure, and return. Even though that you find instances when the plot is somehow somewhat not chronological in any sense of the word. This happens in stories which begin the story from the end, or maybe makes a kind of flashback, for example. Still under features of prose, there are characters or characterization. Characters are people, or they could be animals, or even things whose action drive the plot of the story. Characters can be human or non-human. They could be animals, they could be trees, they could be plant, they could be anything, provided that they undertake the action in the story. They can also be round or flat, or major or minor. When we say rounded character, they are characters that appear true to life. They have instances of weaknesses as well as strong uh, features in their characters. While flat characters are just there, they are static, they don't move, they don't change, they are just there. They hardly even impress you because they are just too far-fetched. They are too fantastic to be true, so we call them just flat characters. While major characters are the characters that play important role in the story. Without them, you find that the story will even be non-existent. While minor characters are not as important as the major ones, but with or without them, the story still continues. Setting implies the place or places where the story takes place. It can be a room, a house, forest, or even some non-existent planet, for example, something that you can't even comprehend. So a writer may choose to create his setting in whatsoever kind of imagination he can form. Or they could be places that are imagined by the author or the next genre is play or drama. Drama is meant to be acted on the stage rather than uh, just read to be enjoyed. It is usually called a play, and the greater part of a drama is dialogue with periodic stage directions. It is meant to be acted out in front of an audience, and the writer of a drama is known as a playwright or drama. Features of drama. These are some of the most important features that are peculiar to drama. One is the dialogue, that is, the conversation between two or more actors or characters. Monologue refers to a situation where a character speaks alone to himself. Mhm. Yes. Sometimes you find that it is referred to as interior monologue, and there are instances where you find a character even engaging in a kind of soliloquy. That is, he just speaks to himself on the stage where the audience is looking at him, and then just speaking, engaging in a kind of soliloquy. Stage direction. This refers to the instruction given by the playwright on how the stage is to be arranged or how certain actions are to be done, and it's usually written in italics. Types of drama. The main types of drama are tragedy, comedy, and then tragicomedy. Tragedy is a kind of play that has a sad ending, no matter not minding what the beginning is. While a comedy is a kind of drama that ends happily, and sometimes even makes the writer excited and even laugh and so on. While tragicomedy is a kind of drama that shares both pitches of tragedy and comedy. You find elements to laugh at, and then sometimes you become sympathetic at the sad event. Nonfiction, otherwise known as life writing, refers to texts that tell the stories of real people's lives. Some of the examples of nonfiction include autobiography, that is the story of a person's life told or written by himself or herself. Biography, a story of a person's life told or written by someone other than himself. Diary or journal is a record of the day-to-day events or happenings of a person's life which are recorded by that person as they happen. You find that every minute detail is included in a diary. For example, the time of the day, the name of the day, the date, the minutes, the hours, minutes, even seconds. Everything is recorded in a diary. Travelogue is an account of a journey or travel recorded by the traveler, showcasing the strange people, places, things, and customs that are encountered in the culture. Other types of literature include oral literature, like folklore, fables, legends, myths, and folktales, and graphic novels and comic books. Well, all in all, we have seen items like literature, its broad three divisions, that is into prose, poetry, and drama, and then how prose itself has been subdivided into fiction and non-fiction, where all of them have their different features. We have seen also uh, drama, its features, characteristic, and also the features of a prose, a poetry, on any of the, I mean, all the three genres of literature. So students should endeavor to read more on literature, and I hope by the grace of God, even after you've graduated from your own specific fields of study, don't go away from reading literary texts. I'm sure you will really enjoy it. Thank you. Good day. And this brings us to the end of the model, and wish you all the best in your exams. Thank you. Good day.